Welcome to RMU Live. Today is Friday, February 7th. I'm Nate Kingston.
And I'm Isabella Harris. Search and rescue crews are searching for a missing passenger plane in Alaska carrying people. The plane was traveling from Unalakleet to Nome, carrying 9 passengers and the pilot. Alaska State Troopers received a report around 4 p.m. local time Thursday that a Bering Air caravan did not reach its destination time. This is the 3rd major aviation incident in 8 days. A Coast Guard search and rescue aircraft was dispatched from the air station in Kodiak to the missing plane's last known location, 12 miles offshore, according to the statement on X. Early Friday morning, the fire department said, quote, "We don't have any updated information on the location of the missing aircraft. Crews are still searching on the ground, canvassing as much area as possible." The National Guard C-130 reported they had found nothing so far, end quote. The story is currently developing.
President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed reporters at the White House on Tuesday, unveiling a proposed plan for the future of Gaza. The president outlined his administration's vision for region stability, emphasizing economic redevelopment and security cooperation. Trump's remarks signaled a departure from traditional U.S. foreign policy, which has long supported a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine. With more on the events, here is Julia Benbrook.
President Donald Trump's comments break with decades of U.S. foreign policy, which has long emphasized a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and open questions about how Trump's proposed land grab would proceed, what legal authorities it would have, and who would pay for those efforts. Now, on Tuesday, Trump delivered the most stunning U.S. intervention in the long history of the conflict. He's suggesting that 2 million Palestinians should be relocated from Gaza to new homes elsewhere so that the U.S. could take ownership of the Strip, possibly with help of U.S. troops. The former real estate developer is describing his vision for the war-torn area as a new Riviera.
We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
The comments came during a joint news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu is the first foreign leader Trump has hosted since he started his second term. Now, the reaction to Trump's comments has been swift. Arab nations have rejected any suggestions to displace Palestinians from Gaza, which opponents argue would amount to ethnic cleansing. The Palestinian Authority president says a U.S. takeover of Gaza would be a, quote, serious violation of international law. While speaking with reporters on Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called Trump's proposal a, quote, out-of-the-box idea. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Thank you, Julia. As Trump's administration's approach has drawn both praise and criticism, with supporters highlighting economic opportunities and detractors warning of potential displacement and geopolitical tensions.
A pair of labor groups representing employees at the U.S. Agency for International Development has sued President Donald Trump on Thursday over his efforts to dismantle the decades-old humanitarian agency. This lawsuit also wants to freeze the administration's foreign assistance. The suit against Trump and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and his Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, argues that, quote, the president is exceeding his authority in violation of the Constitution and the federal law, end quote.
The Senate confirmed Russell Vought as White House Budget Director in a 53-47 party line vote. Vought, a key architect of Project 2025, returns to lead the Office of Management and Budget, a powerful agency shaping federal spending and policy. Democrats opposed him, calling him Trump's, quote, most dangerous nominee, end quote, while Republicans backed his focus on slashing regulations and spending. Vought has advocated for executive control over budgeting, including reclassifying federal workers and using, quote, impoundment, end quote, to withhold congressional approved funds. His nomination signals a push for conservative economic policies and expand presidential authority over federal agencies.
Pam Bondi was sworn in as the 87th Attorney General of the United States at the White House on Wednesday. Bondi has full plans in, quote, making America safe again, end quote. She also has made many remarks of how the Senate Judiciary Committee has been weaponized for years and it needs to stop. Attorney General Pam Bondi has also stated that she plans to review the New York prosecutors' cases against Trump.
Federal Judge George O'Toole praised the Trump administration's deferred resignation program for federal employees, extending the deadline amid legal challenges from unions. The program, aimed at shrinking the workforce, allows employees to resign while receiving full pay through September. Over 65,000 workers have opted in through unions warn of the legality and enforceability. The administration plans widespread layoffs with incentives for older employees. The Office of Personnel Management clarified legal concerns but faced backlash over inconsistencies in policy. Details. For more on the story, here is Sherelle Hubbard.
Federal employees offered a deferred resignation package were supposed to decide by 11:59 p.m. Thursday if they would accept it. But Thursday afternoon, a federal judge paused the deadline.
They're making it sound like federal workers are going to be put on administrative leave and paid till the end of September. There's no guarantee of that.
Several unions filed a lawsuit seeking a temporary restraining order to pause the deadline, questioning the ability of the Trump administration to follow through on its promises and the offer's legality. Federal unions have strongly urged members not to accept the package. The White House is advocating the opposite.
Is going to save the American people tens of millions of dollars, and we encourage federal workers in this city to accept the very generous offer.
The buyout offer would allow workers to quit now and get paid through September 30th. It's the Trump administration's sweeping effort to shrink the size of the federal workforce. Opponents fear that essential employees who do not accept could be let go.
Keeping our military ready, caring for our veterans, guaranteeing our homeland security, clean air, clean water, safe borders, all of those things, and they do it at great efficiency to the American people.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Thank you, Sherelle. A hearing is set for Monday where the judge may further halt the program as legal proceedings continue.
On Wednesday, President Trump signed the No Men and Women's Sports Executive Order. This was a major campaigning promise that he had made. He signed the executive order on National Girls and Women's Sports Day. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a briefing before Trump signed the executive order that it is, quote, upholds the promise of Title IX, end quote.
A federal judge temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order denying U.S. citizenship to children born to parents living illegally, calling it blatantly unconstitutional, end quote. The order issued during Trump's second term sought to exclude children born after February 19th from birthright citizenship, but faced legal challenges. The 14th Amendment guarantees citizenship to those born on U.S. soil. The case could have broader implications for U.S. immigration and citizenship, as it challenges interpretation dating back to 1889 Wong Kim Ark case.
President Trump has been making illegal immigration a top priority of his. A U.S. military plane carrying a group of Indian migrants landed in India early Wednesday morning. There have been around 750,000 Indians who have been illegally residing in the U.S. since 2022. This makes India the third largest source of illegal immigration alongside Mexico and El Salvador. President Trump told reporters on Air Force One after his call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, quote, "We have a very good relationship with India," end quote. The Trump continued to express his confidence that he will do what's right.
President Trump signed two executive orders on Thursday, one targeting the International Criminal Court, or the ICC, and another addressing anti-Christian bias. The ICC order imposes sanctions on individuals aiding investigations of U.S. citizens or allies, following warrants for Israeli officials Nayatu and Gallant over alleged war crimes. The ICC condemned the sanctions, stating, quote, "They harmed his independence," end quote. Trump's other order focuses on combating anti-Christian bias, marking his continued stance on both international and domestic issues.
Chief executives at Politico are strongly pushing back against the claims of subscription fees that come from federal agencies. They explained it as a professional subscription is used by companies and organizations, also stating that the majority of Politico Pro subscribers are in the private sector, and 90% renew their subscriptions at the company claim to not have any received taxpayer dollars, saying, quote, "We have never received any government funding, no subsidies, no grants, no handouts, and not one dime ever in 18 years, end quote.
Coming up, Moon Township police had a 100-mile-per-hour chase yesterday, and a man is facing charges. More on this when we come back, right here on RMU Live.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys. You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to RMU Live. We have some local news for you and some closer to home than others.
A fire destroyed the former Bethany House in Reserve Township Thursday night. Firefighters responded to the blaze just before 8:30 p.m. to find the roof on fire, and despite efforts to contain it, part of the roof collapsed. The building had been used for after-school programs, and neighbors expressed sadness over its loss, emphasizing its value to local children. One person sustained a minor finger injury also. The Allegheny County Fire Marshal is investigating the fire's cause.
A man is wanted after police say he brutally assaulted and strangled a man inside an Aliquippa VFW. Brett Hours, 39, fled the scene Sunday night before the police arrived. Police said surveillance video of the incident shows Hours viciously attacking and strangling the victim for around 30+ minutes. The attack appeared to be unprovoked, and the victim is most likely to be unconscious while he was being assaulted. He was just captured yesterday evening after a short standoff. Further investigation continues with this case.
Robert Chaplin, 34, has been charged with criminal homicide for allegedly shooting and killing his girlfriend, Estelia Rivera Vasquez, 35, inside their Restraver Township home. Police responded just before 11 p.m. Wednesday after a child in the home called 911. Officers found Chaplin outside while Vasquez was discovered shot in the chest on the basement floor. She was taken to a hospital but later died. Police recovered a gun and shell casings near her body. The couple's 3 children are safe and in the care of relatives. Chaplin was denied bail, and the investigation is still ongoing.
A man is facing charges after what turned into a lengthy police car chase on Wednesday afternoon in Moon Township. Christoph Gerlin Bailey, 18, first fled the scene from a traffic stop in Franklin Park. The officers attempted to pull the gray Hyundai Sonata over for a rear parking brake being out. on Tuesday. He was later spotted in Mooncrest in Moon Township. Officers began to follow the car, resulting in the car chase that led them up to 100 miles per hour down several streets. The officers ended the chase for multiple safety reasons and later caught up to Bailey. He was walking nearby the abandoned vehicle left in the area of Thorn Run Road and Old Thorn Run Road. Police searched for the car and found multiple license plates from Colorado and Pennsylvania, alongside with a handgun. Bailey was found with several IDs that had multiple addresses, including Brooklyn, Virginia Beach, and Coraopolis. Police say that they did an immigration query and learned that Bailey was supposed to return to Jamaica in January but failed to do so.
Vincent Wolf, 57, former financial secretary of United Steelworkers, local union 623 in Beaver County, pleaded guilty to embezzlement. An audit after his re-election loss found $14,695 missing. Investigators determined he wrote checks to himself and used the union's debt card for personal expenses. Wolf faces up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $10 million, or double the stolen amount. His sentence is set for June 4th before Judge Marilyn J. Horton.
The King's Family Restaurants in Pittsburgh suffered a loss of their beloved founder, Hartley King, last Friday. King opened his first restaurant in North Versailles back in 1967, and it grew to more than 30 locations, including one in Canonsburg. Many workers and customers of the restaurant said Hartley King was more than a boss. He was a great man and loved by his community, and gave back to it in so many ways. King was 91.
Big changes could be coming to RMU. What students need to know. Plus, Colonials basketball gears up for a crucial matchup. And is winter marketing making a comeback? Stay tuned on RMU Century Media for all most up-to-date news, sports, and entertainment. Check out rmucenturymedia.com for more.
We could be going back to snowy weather next week, all coming up when we return.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
we discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. We're going to send it over to Riley to hear what the weather has in store for us this week.
Thanks, guys. We're going to take a look at this week's weather. So for today's forecast, if you haven't been outside yet, we're at a high of 34, a low of 24. Humidity is at 47%. Chance of precipitation is at 3%, so very light on the rain. And then our hourly forecast, let's take a look at that. 3 p.m. is going to be partly cloudy at 32 degrees. And then we are going to 6 p.m., 30 degrees. And then looking around 9 p.m. late at night, we're going to do 27 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast, we're looking at a high of 39, a low of 29, humidity at 59%, and chance of precipitation at 99%. If I were to own a duck, it would be outside. I'd be outside with it. It's raining, or go jump in puddles. It's part of the fun. We're going to take a winter weather advisory as well for the ice. For Saturday night, there's a weather advisory for freezing rain in the evening, changing over to snow showers overnight, as well as potential for significant icing, so avoid slipping. I know I would. So let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Sunday, Super Bowl day, we are looking at partly cloudy, high of 36, low of 26. Monday, partly cloudy again, high of 36, low of 25. Tuesday, we are looking at a high of 35, low of 26. Wednesday, snow. Snow for those 3 days. High of 36, low of 28. And Thursday, high of 33, low of 21. And that is all for weather. Sending it back to the desk, I'm Riley Sacho.
Thanks, Riley. Sounds like we're going to have to go back to bundling up with many layers again this week.
That's very true. Now over to the other side of things, not weather related, but onto sports. What's going on at RMU and in the Pittsburgh area? We're going to send it over to Jordan.
Thanks, guys. We're starting off with women's hockey. The women's team is coming off of 2-5 loss versus Penn State. That now makes 4 straight losses for the team. They have the chance to turn around a little bit, though, as they are kicking off a 2-game homestand tonight versus Syracuse. Moving on to the men's side, they are coming off a 3-3 tie versus Mercyhurst. Walter Zacher, George Crotires, and Mitch Dilstra led the team in goals with 1 for each of them. The Colonials have more conference play ahead of them as they are heading up to Massachusetts today to take on Bentley. This will be the start of a 3-game away stint for the Colonials. Now, going from the ice to the hardwood, men's basketball is coming off a dominant 71-56 victory versus Detroit Mercy. Alvaro Figueres and Ryan Prather Jr. led the team with 16 and 15 points respectively. Amarion Dickinson also contributed with 8 blocks, setting a single-game school record. The men are set to play tomorrow at Northern Kentucky. Going to the other side of things, the women's team is coming off a tough 54-63 loss to Purdue Fort Wayne. They have a big opportunity to bounce back, however, as they are taking on bottom of the conference, Milwaukee, on Saturday. We are not done yet, however, as we have more sports returning. Lacrosse is back. The men are kicking off things tomorrow as they are heading down to Virginia to take on the Richmond Spiders. And the women's team starts their season next Wednesday when they take on Duquesne. I'm Jordan Warwick, and we're sending it right back to the desk.
Thank you, Jordan. I can't wait to see what the lacrosse teams do this year.
Looking for the latest news, sports, and entertainment? Don't miss out on RMU-TV. Stay informed, stay engaged, and catch all the action only on RMU-TV. Tune in and stay connected.
Coming up after this, we have more going on in what's happening in the Pittsburgh area and what happened in Punxsutawney this week. More after this.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Groundhog's Day was this past Sunday, and while Punxsutawney Phil didn't quite predict what we all wanted, RMU Century Media took a trip to see him. Casey Erlewine has the inside look.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. Unfortunately, the news we didn't want to see was Phil saw his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter, unfortunately. I don't know about you, Isabella, but I know I'm not really ready for 6 more weeks.
Nope, I'm a summer girly all the way. So winter's not in the plans.
No, it's not in the plans. Hopefully, we don't see that too bad of weather. Now, going over to something that I think is really more Pittsburgh is the NFL has announced its first ever regular season game in Ireland for the 2025 season, with the Pittsburgh Steelers as the home team. The game will be played at Dublin's Croke Park, honoring the team's deep Irish roots, including the Rooney family's heritage. The Steelers previously played a preseason game in Ireland in 1997. NFL executive Peter O'Reilly cited the success of college football in Dublin as a key factor in the decision. The Steelers' opponent has yet to be announced, marking a historic moment in the league's international expansion. Now, continuing on with the NFL news, another big thing was and coming this weekend is the Super Bowl, which is happening Sunday night. I know a lot of people are not very interested in the two teams except for the cities they abide in, but I think it'll still be a good game. And to see what's happening, we'll take it right here.
A high-stakes matchup for this year's Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. But the stakes are also high for advertisers. Fox, the broadcaster of this year's big game, says some companies paid more than $8 million for a 30-second ad spot.
We went all in to make sure that we have the best story.
Ricardo Marquez is the vice president of marketing for Michelob Ultra, one of the many beer brands owned by Anheuser-Busch.
At Anheuser-Busch, 260 plus ads. We have a clear playbook on how to win the Super Bowl.
This year's 60-second commercial,
What are two Michelob Ultras?
Called the Ultra Hustle. The ad features high-profile athletes being challenged by actors Willem Dafoe and Catherine O'Hara.
Would you consider playing us?
For the Ultras.
In a friendly, yet highly competitive game of pickleball.
When it was pitched to me, I thought, this is funny.
We're in a friendly game of pickleball. We just happen to be animals on the court.
Creating this 60-second ad took almost a year of planning.
When we get to the production stage, securing talent, the director, a location, and then all the post-production work, all of that takes immense time.
Marquez says it took 5 days just to film the commercial. And the goal of all this hard work and time?
Brand recognition and ultimately, of course, sales.
In a digital world, they also measure success by the buzz and engagement their ad gets online. That's one of the many reasons why they release the commercial before the big game. And as soon as this year's Super Bowl ends, it's back to the drawing board to focus on next year's commercial.
The pressure and the privilege of being in the Super Bowl stage.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
We are in the heat of the flu season, according to the CDC. There have been at least 20 million illnesses, along with 250,000 hospitalizations, with 11,000 deaths from the flu just this season. The symptoms to watch out for are coughing, high fever, chills, muscle aches, sore throat, and congestion. Local doctors are urging those who are showing up with symptoms to stay home. They are also pushing the precautions of everyday tasks like simply washing your hands and other sanitary procedures to help stop the spread of the virus.
Now, Isabella, I definitely don't want to catch this flu virus. I know the flu is going around on campus and around the Pittsburgh area.
I do not want to catch it either.
Yes. Now that's all we have today for RMU Live. We will see you next week for even more news in the RMU and Pittsburgh area.
Thanks for watching.